My goodness. My goodness gracious. My goodness gracious, was that absolutely delicious? I mean, Impossible Whopper, guys, you just saw me down that sucker. You just saw me take it down. Ate that thing. I ate that thing. I ate that thing. You know? I had to power up before having this conversation. How are you guys doing out there? J-Rod, Ascends, Mushi, E-Ribble, Brandon, Few Disciple, Vaxica, Piper, Hoffman, Big Kurt, Reno Hill, and Glorious, J-Rod, and Brandon. How are you, my friends? I also see a bunch of people on Facebook. How you guys doing? I see a bunch of people on YouTube. How are you guys doing? Good morning, Taco. How are you? Michelle, how are you? I'm doing well. So, you know, here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. There's a lot of tour dates up right now on redjumpsuitapparatus.com, and we're actually adding a bunch more, so it's not all bummer news. There is a little bummer news, though. So I'm just going to explain it to you exactly how it's explained to me. Some of the venues that we were going to play, the people who work there, which is called the staff, the entire staff has been infected. So, you know, this is going to happen sometimes, especially when, like, there's a surge. And the first place we were supposed to go to was Texas, where there is a surge. So, because of that, there's a ripple effect of bands who have gone and played there and then went on to other places. And a lot of tours are similar in routing. So, we are just showing a little bit of caution by removing the first 2.5 weeks of the tour. The whole rest of the tour isn't being touched, and we all believe everything's going to be fine, because by then, what I'm being told, which I think makes sense, is that the people who are getting sick now in the surge are going to have immunity for 2 months, which means they're clear. And the people who did get vaccinated, you know, they're already vaccinated, so they're in the clear. So basically, just the next 2 weeks is really kind of a hot spot. So if you're out there, be careful, man. That's all I got to say. One or two venues that we're playing literally next week aren't even going to be open next week. So this is a weird one. It's not a cancellation. Welcome to COVID-19 saga. You know, like, so we're just trying to be good spirits. We don't cancel shows because we've been touring for 17 years. We just reschedule. We've always done that. So we did a bunch of shows this year. Thank you, Reno. There you go. Reno with the sub, the Prime sub, and Punk by default as well. What's up, Punk? Good to have you back. From New Zealand, I think, right, Punk? But if I'm right about that. What's up to everybody on the Philippines still awake? You guys are staying up late tonight in the Philippines, huh? Let's hear it for them.
Stay up late, Philippines.
So basically, there's nothing we can do about a venue, you know, getting sick. Essentially, it's like the club got sick. So just to be careful, because we know that's going on right now, we're starting on the 15th in Ohio. All right, so the 15th in Ohio is now the first show. So every other show, all of those tickets are still valid. A couple of them are close to selling out. You might not want to wait. See, basically, these are just going to November. So I'm warning you now. For sure, Oklahoma City is about to sell out any minute now. I think Michigan's getting really close to, as well as Joliet, which is basically Chicago. So the show's going to be in November, but if it sells out like next week, you know what I mean? Like that can still happen. So we're just letting you know that they're moving. So I'll go ahead and just read those off real quick. It's all the Texas shows in Oklahoma City. Then it's Springfield, Indy, Grand Rapids, Madison, Wisconsin, and Joliet, which is Chicago. And then just the other side of that, Detroit. That's it. So it's only like, it's not even a whole bunch of shows. It's like 7 or 8 shows. But we want to move them to November, just in case. We also don't want you guys to get sick, by the way. So there you go. That's the big announcement. In case you missed it, I can sum everything up really quickly by, if you go to the redjumpsuitapparatus.com, the tour is now going to start on the 15th. And another bonus, I am going to tell you guys a little secret. We're working with another band who isn't currently on the lineup. and the negotiations have gone really well, and he's a friend of mine. So if you hang out on Twitch, you can probably figure out who he is. He's in a few bands, so this is one of his bands. I'm not going to name him yet, but he's a pretty big dude. So like all of a sudden there's going to be a brand new band on this show. So if you bought a ticket, like you're literally just getting a better show. It's the same bands plus one, but it's in November. And hopefully by then, the people who have natural immunity are good, and the people who are vaxxed are good, and like, you know, the whole situation is a little smoother in some of these hotspot areas. Not everywhere we're going is a hotspot area. So, you know, we're just watching just like everybody else and listening to all the smart people. We don't even really make a lot of these decisions, guys. Like I said, if a venue shuts down because of COVID, then there's nothing any band can do. So for 2 weeks, every single band that was going to play at that venue isn't. So that's going to happen. So if you're a fan of live music, please continue to be patient and awesome like you have all year. We've had no jerks. Of all the shows we've rescheduled, we've already played a bunch this year that we made up for last year. All the California shows are happening in December this year. We've had almost no jerks. Of all the tickets that were sold, everybody was very understanding and very cool, and I don't know what else to say other than that just makes me happy. Makes me happy because I have to work with those guys, and you know, it's not. Sometimes you hear a bunch of like anger and stuff coming towards the band, and we really don't get that from you guys, from our fans overseas, here in the U.S., whatever. So I do really appreciate that. Zenado, not yet, but I think Oklahoma City might be. It's close. That's the closest one, and then the Texas shows always pack out. So, see, that's the thing. The Texas shows were going to be amazing. They were going to crush. They're still going to crush. They're just going to crush in November, and we're going to have another band with us who you're going to recognize for free. That's not even going to change the ticket price. But they're not going to crush if we pull into the venue and everybody there is sick and the doors are spray painted with a black X over it. You know, don't enter the plague. So that is not a government restriction. That is not a county official. It's not a mayor. That's literally, hey, everybody's sick. We can't go to work today. So it's not like Burger King where they have a lot of employees. They got like 4 or 5 people that run these venues. And that's why we try to be so nice to everybody who works there, because it's a really small team to keep a venue going, and everybody kind of works extra. So if anybody watching this has a family member or anything like that, tell them to be extra careful this week. The thing is last year there was no touring during COVID. So because there is touring now during COVID, there's going to be some moving around. Again, like a lot of bands just cancel tours. We're not doing that. We're going to play in November. All right. And the whole rest of the tour, as you can see, the majority of the tour, the overwhelming majority of the tour is not being rescheduled. We're just not going to start until the 15th in Ohio. Every other show will be moved to November, which is wide open. Again, if you have any questions about any of that, you can check out the redjumpsuitapparatus.com. We're going to update our artwork. But before we even did that, I've seen all these like kind of announcements from bands. I'm sure you guys have too, where it's like, you know, under great consideration and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, look, I'm just going to go live and explain to everybody real quick what's up. So that's just like my style. I hope you guys appreciate that. And you know, so like I said, I don't know. We're going to be optimistic and just say everything else is going to go fine. So that's the plan. We'll see what happens, right? Welcome to 2021. It's not as bad as 2020, but still weird. Still weird. The weirdness has not faded, right? But we're in it together, guys. The whole time, though, between now and then, I will be live streaming on Twitch. I'm actually live on Twitch right now, and I'm shooting to Facebook and YouTube. So I'm going to end this stream, and then I'm going to continue to hang out on Twitch. If you want to say hi, there's a link right there in the description from the video you're watching right now. We're probably going to play some Warzone or some Cold War, or maybe not. We might just hang out. But either way, you can continue the conversation if you want to. All you got to do is go to Twitch and find Ron Apparatus. If anybody else has any other questions about their tickets, it's pretty simple. All tickets are still valid. Some of the shows are still selling, are already still almost sold out. They're being moved to November. Only the shows before the 15th. We're updating the art probably tonight. I just wanted to tell you first. I wanted to tell you before we even did that. I wanted you to know right away, guys. Okay? And don't forget, we are adding an extra band, so you guys are really lucky. Because you're basically just getting an extra free show. And I'm telling you, you're going to be really happy when you find out who it is, and it's going to be totally worth it. it's going to be worth it. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to end the stream, but then go back live on Twitch. If you're